Elway boots and rolls to his right, stops, loads it up, throws down deep in the middle of the field. Brad Smith's got it. Here we go. 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Brad Smith, Denver touchdown. Inside the 10, head first. He's high, yard line. He wanted that first down.
And I tell you what, you want to tell me the 37-year-old man that's going to win this game.
The Broncos have been in 3 overtime games this year.
Well, good evening, Denver Bronco fans, Denver Bronco Roundup fans. It's not a Tuesday night. Heck no, it's a Monday night. It's a special edition. You can already tell because we got Jody Moncrief already on the screen, which is usually like an introduction in. Welcome, Jody. How you doing, sir?
Welcome, everyone.
Yeah, well, welcome to you, Jody, man. It's special edition. We got a lot of things going. And a lot of questions, man. Obviously we're going to be hitting a Super Bowl recap, but there's some things that you'll never get answers to, buddy. What happened before the Big Bang? What happens after we die?
Right.
Why the sky is blue. Well, we might have an answer on that one. I'm just kidding. But one question that we'll always have is, what the heck rhymes with orange and blue? And the guys that maybe have the answer, maybe can give us a little explanation, are right here with us. Special show tonight. Welcome in Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast members, Johnny, Isaiah, and Jay. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
What's going on?
What's up?
Oh,
Uncle Leo.
This is crazy, man. This is our first time. This is our first time collabing with Rocky Mountain Sports Network, but we've been friends with you guys for so freaking long. It's not
right.
funny. So it's kind of crazy to actually be on here with you guys. We love you guys. And Jody, I noticed that your neon light is it's off there. Is that because you're sad about last night's game, or? Okay, that feels
not
good.
at Motel 6. He's turning that off.
I thought it was maybe just the regular season light. It doesn't actually, until the games matter, we don't turn it on. Maybe that was a little bit different look for Jody tonight. I haven't noticed the neon light. So nice addition there,
It's an end
buddy.
to football till the fall.
It is. It's dark season.
There you go. Well, hey, guys, before we actually even get started, I kind of hit it off. I know you won't be able to probably explain what rhymes with orange and blue, but I do want you guys to talk a little bit about what you guys got going on. You guys got a great show, fun group of guys, but give us what you got, when you're on, when we can catch you, how we can catch up with you if you're not on. Give us it all, buddy.
First of all, there's a lot of things that actually rhyme with orange and blue. When we originally came up with the name, it was supposed to be Nothing Rhymes with Orange ... and Blue. But we kind of found that people were getting confused by the ellipses, so we just took it out.
There you go.
So Nothing Rhymes with Orange. There is nothing that rhymes with orange. I don't care. You can try to find anything in the dictionary. It doesn't exist.
Yep.
Weird Al made up a word for it, but it's not real. As far as that goes, guys, you can catch us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Well, no, we're not on Twitch anymore, but we're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter as of right now.
Very good.
YouTube is probably our biggest area where we go live most of the time. We go live on them all, but that's the one where we get the most interaction.
Very good.
Easy to find us. You can literally just check. You can literally search Nothing Rhymes Podcast on YouTube to find us. Otherwise, you can find us on Twitter at Nothing_Rhymes_.
There we go. Got the second underscore. Don't forget the second underscore. Definitely, that's where you can follow us for analysis, polls, catching up.
Yeah.
All right. So repeat that again for everybody.
It's at Nothing_Rhymes_ on Twitter.
There you go. Nothing _rhymes_. Got it.
Right
everybody.
now, during the off season, at this moment, we only have our one show running at the moment, and that is on Wednesday nights. So 2 days from now. at 7:30, 6:30, 6:30. Yeah, 7:30, 6:30, 5:30, 4:30.
Yeah.
And and yeah, we that's the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast. It's the OG. We are soon to be introducing a couple of new shows. Isaiah, because he can't be on with us on Wednesdays, unfortunately, due to work constraints.
Yep.
Isaiah is going to be having his own breakdown show.
Orange and Blue breakdown, baby.
Orange and Blue breakdown. That's coming up soon. And then we're also introducing a brand new show very soon. Don't have a name for it yet. We're working on that right now, but it's going to be hosted by Mr. Rob Myrick from
Nice.
and our good buddy Ty Tunis, also known as Ty to our fans.
Nice.
They're going to be. We're still working out the details on that, but that will be coming soon in the off season. And then, of course, during the regular season, we have a pregame show called the Get Bucked pregame show.
Oh, already got on it.
Yeah, and then we have a post-game show called Buck Your Feelings.
Dang.
So,
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Pre-Sean Payton's
Pre-Sean Payton.
Twitter
Yeah, that's
hashtag
right.
here. Like, it's...
Yeah, I know.
You guys
is
should
my
get
first
some
time
love.
hanging out with Buckham. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's kind of. Our names are kind of prophetic.
I was
Wow.
like, I was actually concerned when we came up with those names that we were overstepping the line on like getting close to profane there.
Yep,
until our
yep,
head coach was like, "This is our new motto," and I'm like,
Yeah.
Hey,
I can't believe it, man.
Awesome.
Can't believe it. You'll get even more tuners, people tuning in than you already have. Like I said, for any of our listeners out there on Rocky Mountain Sports Network, check them out. Fun show. Do a fantastic job over the guys. I'm excited for Isaiah and the Orange and Blue breakdown. I'm going to call it right now. You down with OBB? Yeah, you know me.
That is great.
basically, that is awesome. I hadn't even made that connection.
Off the
Now,
cuff there.
That's fantastic. It'll be great right during the off season right now, especially leading up to the draft. Isaiah's going to be breaking down players of interest that could fall to the Broncos at certain points in the draft.
I think this
Awesome.
year's more going to be more oriented around free agency than the draft. You may do a couple touch-ups on the draft, but seeing as our picks are minimal this year, I'm definitely going deep in free agency because, like George Payton said, he's going to be aggressive in free agency. So I definitely want to dive into where we're going with the offensive line, what big ticket acquisitions we may make, depending on Sean Payton's system like that. So it'll be more interested in free agency than draft this year.
Very good, man. I was just on here, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, saying the off season sometimes is more exciting to me than the regular season. It's something I just love. I thrive for. So,
Yeah.
OBB, yeah, you know me.
Yeah.
I'll be there, buddy. So
I love it.
that said, guys, I figured we just set a few things out there. Oh, first off, good friends over at K&K Show. Kenny's joining in saying, "Evening, fellas, look forward to a fun show. You're getting it with these guys, buddy. Come along for the ride." Everybody come along for the ride as well. Comments and questions, we love to have them.
Keith, you make us sound crazy.
Well, hey,
We are.
let's face it. For anybody jumping in and watching the show and seeing these guys on our podcast, a little bit something new, a little bit something different. We were also just a few minutes late. One of the reasons is because Jay over here gets kicked off Facebook.
Yeah.
So if you want to say, "Hey, these
real.
guys,
Today's the day."
we're exaggerating who these guys are," yeah, whatever.
Bad boys.
Yeah, right.
Nothing on this.
They ain't got nothing. We got a good friend jumping into Adam and Kayla. They're always good supporters of our show, guys. They're saying "Sup, family," and they're excited to be here as well. So,
What's up?
Glad to
real
meet
quick,
you guys.
Yeah. Welcome to the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue crew, man. That's what I call them. Guys, real quick, we try to usually catch us about an hour. Might be a little bit longer with all of us on here, but try to keep it, somewhere in that realm. We all have our other lives, and I know our fans do too. That being said,
My whole family's asleep, so you got me as long as you need me, bro.
All right, buddy, man. I might keep you a couple minutes extra. Believe me, Jody's used to that. Sorry about that, Jody.
Good.
Real quick, I think the first question we need to get out there, guys. I wish I had props available for us all, but need to know who has tinfoil hats. We'll start off with a Super Bowl recap. Who has the tinfoil hat? Who's thinking this is all a scripted show? Maybe Who says that this was an all rigged? I guess a raise of hand is going to be just as good as any. Anybody feel like this was a little bit fishy? Anybody want to speak on that end?
Nah.
I think the
Oh
field.
man, all upstanding gentlemen here know that it's all real football, man.
The
Well,
Roger Goodell hug after the game, that kind of shook me a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
Anything. I didn't like that. I like my commissioners being fanboys on the stage of the championship in which he, dictates. That's
Right.
weird.
Making it sound like Jay has a ton of his own commissioners. I mean,
What,
I
you just
don't
love
like
that?
my shirt.
It's my personal Indian
I think the
undercover
field gets
commissioner.
Maybe he follows the NBA a little bit too, so he's got several commissioners. You know,
This
Oh,
is
so
true.
do I.
It's all
So
good.
do I.
This is
We're
true.
both. Isaiah is a heathen. Isaiah is a heathen. He only likes the Broncos as far as Colorado sports goes, because
Okay.
he's from California.
Oh boy.
But Jay and I, we are diehard Colorado fans in general,
Yep.
except for the Rockies, because who cares?
It's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Yeah, no, I'm a Cardinals fan of baseball, but otherwise, Jay and I, we line up exactly the same as cousins, as friends, as family, whatever. We're Avalanche, Nuggets, Broncos,
Yep.
CU Buffs, you name it, we love them all.
All the
so.
above.
All the above.
Checking out some DU hockey and some Mammoth as well. There you go. So let's just start off, guys. I'll start off with Jay. I'll get our guests involved first. Tell me what you thought about the last call, though, man. There's a lot of tinfoil hats out there. Like I said, a lot of people raising an eyebrow, I'd say, to say the least. So I'll let you go off on it first. Tell me what you have to say, buddy.
The glorious holding call, right?
Right.
Is it a hold or is it not a hold? I think by rule definition, I think maybe we could all agree if every single call was 100% correct by the book, it would have been a holding. That would be my personal opinion. But, however, each game is officiated so differently that it is really, in my opinion, a wild card as far as how the crew of that game is going to interpret the rules. So,
Fair.
I think there were questionable calls in both teams' favor throughout the game. I think it was interesting that this had to be the call at the very end of the game. I think if this was the exact same call in the second quarter, I don't think it would have been that big a deal. But we're talking like a third down, last drive of the Super Bowl. I mean, this is storybook stuff.
Yep.
And for it to result in the Zebras having a hand in it, I think that's unacceptable just in a policy sense. So I'd be embarrassed if I was a Chief fan, but I'd be embarrassed if I was a Chief fan no matter what.
Fair. What good way to end that. I love that. I'm going to jump this over to Isaiah first, then. I'll change the question just a little bit, buddy. Did it change the outcome of the game? Was that a game changer? Did that make the difference? Was that do or die?
Well, first on the call, I think it was the right call. I just don't think it was a good call. I think it was the right call. I just don't think it was a good call. But if it did it change the outcome? No, I don't think it did because second half the Eagles could not stop the Chiefs' offense at all. They used the same play on two separate plays, different parts of the field, and scored a touchdown on each play. The Eagles had no answer for the Chiefs' offense, and I think Andy Reid or Eric Bieniemy would just drummed up something else the next play.
Fair, man. That's fair. Good points. If you weren't going to say a few of those, I was probably going to get it to them as well. So me and you are on the same page. Johnny, I'm going to change the question just a little bit for you again. So obviously there's been a lot of scrutiny throughout. It seems like a couple years of the refs. Certainly there's been questionable calls all throughout this year's playoffs. And now we've got the biggest game of the year and maybe, as Jay mentioned, the largest drive of the entire game where a call comes into play. Does all this scrutiny change how we, hire, train? I even heard people saying maybe refs should have to step in front of the mic like players and coaches have to at the end of games. Do we see changes because of this?
Wow. I mean, first of all, I am remiss that I did not actually mention this at the beginning. It's awesome that we can up the beard quotient on your show tonight. I mean, look at this gloriousness. I mean,
isn't it great?
Not by the hairs of my chin.
My wife is, yeah, I know. Poor Jay there.
No.
We'll
go back. We'll go back.
but my wife's constantly harassing me to shave it off, and I'm like, baby, I love you, never again. So, anyway.
Very good.
So yeah, thank you very much, by the way, for changing that question when I sat there through two of them and prepared my own answer, and now I've got to come up with something totally different.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, we'll keep it moving for everybody.
I think here's where this is a difficult one. I think we've kind of reached the zenith on what men on the field can do, as far as these refs go. Okay. First of all, you have to. The hard thing for fans to realize and understand is that for these refs, calling a game is very subjective. Okay, there is zero objectivity to being a referee because we all see things differently. We all perceive things differently, and no one person sees anything the exact same way as somebody else. What I see as orange, you might see as purple. I'm just saying, or what you see as purple is what I might think is orange. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
There is no such thing as objectivity when it comes to calling a game. That being said, we have 6 men on the field every game who are doing their very best to keep track of 22 guys on the field moving all at the same time.
Yep.
They're going to make mistakes. They're going to call the best game that they can. That's why I think we have reached the zenith, because I think that every year we have seen at least them putting in further attempts to better the refereeing.
Mm-hmm.
But what more can you actually do to better people? These are still individuals. They're still people who see things their own way, regardless of they're not robots. You can't program. So ultimately, I think we've reached the zenith of what these men on the field with their own eyeballs can do and call. So okay. I truly perceive that within the next year, we're going to see an eye in the sky ref, a 7th ref added, and he is the eye. He is the guy sitting kind of like basically like the review booth guy, but he is watching. He's watching a screen connected to the cameras above.
Gotcha.
And in that, suddenly he's able to be like, but see this angle right here. He's literally the ref who is in the box. He can pull up every camera angle that possibly saw anything that happened on the field, and he can call down to the main referee. Hey man, look, from this angle, absolutely he was in, or absolutely that was holding. As far as that call goes, it was in a lot of ways a ticky-tack call.
Yep. Because
I went back through the game, and if you'd really watched the entire game, there had been a lot of, they were playing aggressive football. Players putting hands, defensive backs putting hands on wide receivers putting their hands on defensive backs. It was aggressive football, which it should be. It's the freaking Super Bowl.
Right,
okay?
Yeah.
That being said, I do also believe that in that moment of the game, you can't avoid calling that. You can't, because or even if you did, it wouldn't matter. Either way, those refs are screwed on that play. Either he calls it because it was clearly holding. I mean, Bradbury even said himself, "I did it."
Yep.
Said it in his post-game interview. I committed a penalty.
I still want George Payton to sign it, by the way.
Yeah, I do too. But the point is, he actually said in his post-game presser, "I did it." Okay, so it's not like he's denying. But at the same time, the rest of the game, the exact same thing had been being called. But if the refs hadn't called it, they'd have been crucified for not calling it. If they had, and then by half of the world, and then if they hadn't called it, they'd be crucified by the other half. They're damned if they do, damned if they don't.
This is very true. Yeah.
And post-game pressures with the refs, I think, is an absolute possibility.
Very good, man. I like that idea. It holds a little bit of accountability. I've been saying for years, I think they need to be full-time employed people, not part-time employed people, and they need to be wage compensated. Jody, I know that we touched on a lot of different things, so I'm going to give you free wheel. Talk about this, the call, the end of the game, however you want to wrap it up, how it does it change, the feeling of a Kansas City Chiefs win. Give it to me all. Give it all to me, I should say.
Was holding? Was it ticky tack? Yes. Did it change the outcome? Maybe. But I mean, there were, like both coaches said, there were other plays that they could have. That one play was not what cost them or won them the game. And I agree with you. I think sooner the better that we have full-time refs, so that you're focused 100% of the time on that, and that's your full-time gig. I think that's where it needs to start. And then I don't know how you guys feel about this. You get 2 challenges already a game. If you want to use it on a penalty like that and they can go review it, I mean, you're still getting the same amount of challenges. You can review it. And then it's to the letter of the law. If they would have reviewed that and it was deemed holding, then what can you say?
Yeah.
Why they take that away?
Well, that's the thing is when it's inside. I mean, the NFL rule is that when a penalty is called or when anything happens within inside aside
Inside
from
2 minutes.
inside the
right.
2-minute warning, it can't be reviewed. You
Yeah.
can't challenge. Now, I think they should do away with that. I think it's stupid. I think as long as that clock is ticking, you should be able to challenge anything.
I agree with that.
I have a.
I don't understand why you can't challenge a penalty or a lack of.
Yeah.
The fact that you can't challenge that. You can challenge the position on the field. You can challenge, a contested catch, things like that. But you can't challenge when a wrongful or whatever call was made. I think that's really kind of suspect.
Yeah, I'm going to pause just for a second, guys, because I just want to say hello to a couple of people that are jumping in the show. This is Danny Kitchen, and Danny Kitchen, I remember before any of us could drink. So as you guys are enjoying a beverage there, we go way, way back. So, Danny, I appreciate you jumping in via YouTube. Sis from over at the K&K show, fantastic gentleman jumping in as well. So evening to you, sis, and a cheers from the brew crew here.
That's right.
And then we got, it looks like a friend of your guys's.
Will Glassman.
That's right, Dave
Glassman.
Glassman.
He says, how many of the same penalties weren't called? Consistency is key. It's absolutely affected the outcome. Eagles would have tied or won. We'll just never know. And, of course, he's coming in and saying, NRW crew. And, hey, just to wrap it up, jumped in here at the last second, Matt Staffiero saying, good evening, gentlemen. Of course, Matt Staffiero, big part of the Rocky Mountain Sports Network. Big things happening always over there. That's a good time for maybe me to transition.
If I may, real quick, Keith, I'd love to just shout out, well, first of all, Dave. Love you, Dave.
Love you, Dave.
Long time or OG fan of Nothing Rhymes.
Nice.
And then Matt, I want to give Matt Staffiero our own Nothing Rhymes shout out. Good friend of ours. Even invited us, believe it or not, to join Rocky Mountain Sports Network about a little less than a year ago after we had actually left our previous network.
Nice.
We decided at that time, I told Matt, though, I was like, we love you, brother, but we're going to pursue our own things for right now. So,
very
but
good.
Big shout out to Matt.
Yeah.
What's up, Matt?
Yeah. Matt's great people, and appreciate you guys, and obviously the relationship you guys and Rocky Mountain Sports Network have had. I was going to say Rocky Mountain Sports Network, obviously that's who we are brought to you by, so you might be just chiming in right through that Rocky Mountain Sports Network YouTube page or Facebook page as we speak right now. Rocky Mountain Sports Network has always got a ton of things going on. They've had all their breaking news coming across, new shows coming up all the time, podcasts like us, and more things to come. So check out Rocky Mountain Sports Network. Great likes on Facebook and YouTube, and you can even interact with Matt Staffiero a little bit because he likes to chat it up from time to time. Last but not least, yeah, he talks too much. Is that what one of you guys said? He talks too much?
Not always, but when you get him going, you can't shut up.
Oh yeah. Just if anybody is a big Drew Lock fan, please reach out to Matt Staffiero. He would love to talk to you and join with your fandom. He's a big Drew Lock supporter. So Paul Montoya coming in and saying, "Here we go, Broncos. Here we go." So I appreciate you coming in, Paul. Last, I guess we'll jump in. Matt says Super Bowl is a tough one. Just was a tough one. Just wish the refs would have let it play out. So we were discussing what a wonderful game it was versus the impact of the officiating. And yeah, it's been the topic of everybody. Like Jay came on and said, I'm kind of ready to move past all the Twitter fest about kind of the mess that it was. It was a fantastic game.
The one thing I have to say, and I just want to have a poll here in the room.
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
The aspect or element of that play that always stands out to me, and I've seen it in other examples previously, but the catchability of the ball. Is that play the same if Mahomes throws it into the stands? Or is it the same if the wide receiver, like, it hits him in the hands,
right?
And the holding happens?
Well, I mean, once again, like I said, it's about the subjectivity of what the ref sees. Now, part of being that ref is for him to look at that and determine how catchable was that ball.
Well, I think that the catchability doesn't count in this situation because the ball was thrown. The hold happened before the ball was
correct.
And I think that's the difference: holding and pass interference.
Yep, you're absolutely right, guys, and that's what it was before the throw happened. Holding, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down, right? So it was the automatic first down that obviously changed the outcome. Timeouts and time were too much into play. The Eagles even tried to allow the Chiefs to score there at the end, but the Chiefs played sound football, got down in bounds, ran out the clock, put the field goal through. They
played a great game.
It was a fantastic game. If you would have looked at this at halftime, we're looking at 27-14. Is that right?
24-14.
24-14. I'm sorry. It was. I was thinking they should have been up 27-14 because I think they settled a little bit there, 28-14, right? For that field goal right at halftime. But honestly, look, some people I even heard, talking. It's like, man, the Eagles might be wrapping this up by halftime type of feeling. It was dominant. Patrick Mahomes looked like he got hurt right at the end of halftime. Didn't know what he was going to look like in that second half. Retired Chad Henne might have been having to go out there and bring him back in the second half. The Chiefs scored on every single possession in the second half. Yep. And that was what really changed.
Think about how much money people lost from a halftime, plump of the Eagles. I mean,
Jay, you're our resident betmeister. Why don't you tell us?
Well, I have no idea. But I can't imagine it's low. I mean, like, to your point, Keith, like, Mahomes was out in my eyes at halftime. Like, he's going to go sit in the locker room and he'll get shot up. But like, it's not good to sit on something like that. So
I think what happened was with the first half to second half. I think the first half, Andy Reid was playing against Jonathan Gannon. I think that halftime adjustment, he realized, I'm not playing against Jonathan Gannon. I'm playing against Vic Fangio. And once he adjusted his play call to the defense he was playing against, you saw a big difference. It was kind of a last-minute Vic Fangio's chance to beat the Chiefs. Couldn't beat him in Denver. It was just his last Hail Mary. And
so it would leave a bad taste in my mouth if Vic Fangio and Melvin Gordon got a Super Bowl ring. It would be an either or. Like, we got to see the picture of Melvin Gordon already.
Who else last?
We could have seen Vic.
Oh, man.
Well, he was celebrating like he rushed for 200 and a couple tutties.
Yeah, right.
I was like, holy
Well,
smokes.
real quick, who else laughed when they saw Melvin Gordon's tweet today?
Oh,
yeah, I saw the video that came out of him celebrating. Yeah.
I audibly giggled. He's like, "Oh, you guys pulled me out of it. Now I'm a champ." And I'm like, "You didn't do."
If I wasn't too emotionally broken up about Bones, I would be a little more on that. But it's been a Bones day for me.
I'm sorry, buddy. Nuggets fans, it was a tough day. Day, man. I understand, man.
It really is.
I'd love to join in that. This is the Denver Bronco Roundup, but I definitely understand that feeling, man.
I have a question. How would you guys feel if that was the Broncos in the Chiefs' position and that holding was called? Would you say it was? Would you be in favor of it, or would you?
I was clearly holding.
This is how I would. This is how I would kind of feel, man. I'll be 100% honest. I would feel like I was cheated just a little bit. Yeah, I would feel, not. I shouldn't say cheated because I'm the Chiefs. I would feel like, a little guilty about my win a little bit. I wouldn't go in be pounding my chest, right? Feeling like, all right, I got this. You guys just straight out lost to us. I'd feel like, man, we kind of got away with one. It was a little bit ugly.
The only thing
No
against that is they scored every time in the second half. So, I mean, you got to have confidence in yourself to say we were going to score anyways.
That's fair, man. We were going to go for it on fourth.
You weren't stopping. Yeah, you weren't stopping us, and we were going to score.
Couldn't stop them at all. I mean, they completely exposed the Eagles.
Where does this put Andy Reid in coaching rankings? Is he a top 5 coach for you now?
Easily.
2 Super Bowls now.
Yeah,
multiple Super Bowls with different teams.
He'll be I mean, he's been to multiple Super Bowls with different teams. He's only ever won with
2 with the Chiefs. What's he been?
I mean, 2 Super Bowls right there. That pretty much.
I think he has 3.
Not as a head coach.
Not as a head coach.
No, not as a head coach.
Head coach. Yeah.
Yes, in total he has 3 rings, but as a head coach, he's only got 2. Yeah. But having those 2 rings as a head coach, he'll be first ballot Hall of Fame for coaches.
It's crazy that
I'll give you that, but I think top 5 is another question. I would say top 10 for sure. Top 10 coaches, but
top 10 for sure. I don't know if I go top 5 when you consider
top 5 is a little tougher to crack. I think
when you start considering guys like Bear Bryant, and Mike Ditka, and
is he the best coach in the NFL right now?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Yeah, I mean, right now, yes. Absolutely. I would say though, he's about to have a run for his money with completely switching gears, but with Sean Payton.
Yeah.
In the AFC West, he's about to have a run for his money at least.
I like the talk, buddy. I'm ready to walk the walk. Believe me, it's past time, man. So I hope that's absolutely true. I would also put Sean McVay up there as a top head coach. I know that he had a down year with the Rams this year, but that would be another top candidate.
I put Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, totally forgot about Shanahan. I was sitting there trying to go through
my head. Maybe, but he's got to win a Super Bowl.
Well, I think just his tree. I'm going off the tree.
Oh, sure, his tree maybe.
So I'm going off Super Bowl wins.
To even actually be in the talk, he's got to win a Super Bowl.
I'm talking about in the NFL, not in total.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, so in the NFL top 3.
Yeah, current NFL coaches. Is he?
Yeah, I think right now it's got to be Andy Reid.
At this moment, absolutely.
Well, the interesting thing about Andy Reid was the play he used when he scored touchdowns. He got that from Doug Peterson, who's from his own tree.
Are you talking about that motion?
Yes.
Play? Okay.
So Andy Reid's tree bore fruit because one of the guys under his tenure used it, and he just borrowed it right back. So it's a wonderful revolving door of Andy Reid tree bearing fruit.
There you go.
I wanted to ask you guys about that, if you don't mind. I know it's your show, but I wanted to ask you guys what you thought about that play. That particular play that they used twice, they scored on twice. When you brought the wide receiver in motion from the left to the right, and then all of a sudden he put his foot in the ground, went right back to his original spot.
Yep.
And the timing was perfect. It completely. I mean, I don't understand why we don't see more teams using that.
Yeah.
But what did you guys think?
Well, now.
What did you guys think of that?
Jody, I'll let you go off, man.
I mean, he was wide open. It was a great play. I kind of expected something like that with Travis Kelce. But, I mean, that was a great play 2 times. The wide receiver was wide open.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
yeah, and I'll kind of wrap this all together. Not only that play that worked back to back, but you also saw, they had a swing pass or a fake swing pass with Smith-Schuster going a second level in the zone that he ended up getting wide open on. The way that Andy Reid is able to design space and able to design time and space is phenomenal. And that's what makes him, like you guys said, first ballot Hall of Fame coach, absolutely. Maybe top 10, I would say. And probably, as Jody said, best in the league with guys like Sean McVay and Sean Payton probably breathing down his neck. But, yeah, absolutely.
I think that's a fair way to go. Just say it. He's best in the league, currently active coaches, and top 10 all time. I would not give him top 5. Not yet.
This might actually I'm going to actually be able to maybe switch this into Jody, because Jody brought up a kind of a topic that we highlighted, and I'll bring it over to him. He said Mr. Reid should off while he's a Hall of Fame head coach. Notice Gannon wasn't going to let off his aggressive nature and find ways to create pressure. Recognized Bradbury, Slay were overcommitting aggressive style and took advantage of it. I know that's a lot, and this is a really long segue, so bear with me. When we start talking about coaching, that's one of the things that we wanted to bring up. We've got a head coach, guys. We've got Sean Payton.
We do.
He knows how to play chess.
What?
What's that?
News to me.
News to you?
Joking.
No, that is not the news. That's not what the big topic we're hitting on. I guess the big topic that Jody kind of wanted to bring up, obviously, is we got our head coach. Where's our defensive coordinator? Where's our offensive coordinator? Where's our position coaches? Jody, I know that you were, I think really when you brought this up, you were kind of maybe alluding to the fact that some of these other teams are starting to check off some of these guys and hire them onto staffs. And the Broncos have yet to bring anybody on. But talk a little bit about what you think is going to be happening here maybe in the next week when it comes to Broncos offensive coordinators and coaches.
I think they have some guys lined up. And like Payton said, he's slow to hire, quick to fire. That's his motto. We waited it out to get Payton, so I'm not in a huge rush if he gets some of the guys that he likes. So he's interviewed some interesting guys. I mean, Rex Ryan, he hasn't coached since 2016.
Oh,
Yep.
God.
I don't know what I think about that. He runs the 46 or a version of it. I don't know if I'm a huge guy on that, but we'll see. I mean, he's been interviewing a lot of guys that are currently employed with the Saints. So,
yep.
I mean, he knows who he wants to go after. So,
yeah, a good way to kind of, surmise it, I guess. The Saints have been a big push. One of those guys, Ronald Curry, was, we're interviewing for offensive coordinator. We did bring in Brian Flores. He has since taken a different position, a different team. Sean Desai, we brought in about a week ago. Brought him in for defensive coordinator, and you mentioned Rex Ryan. Jay, any idea on where we're going for defensive coordinator? Sean Desai, Brian Flores, Rex Ryan, and how do you feel about Rex Ryan? If you want to add your 2 cents in on that, buddy.
Me personally, I don't. I think it's interesting if you get into the mindset of Sean Payton when he originally was trying to concoct his staff, which was going to be Vic Fangio as DC. Right. Anywhere other than Denver, that's probably what was going to happen. But to be in the mindset of that is kind of Sean Payton saying, hey, I just kind of want to do the offense. Like, I need an experienced vet that just is, this is your side of the ball, and I don't have to worry about you. Like, and that's what Vic Fangio is, Yeah. Vic Fangio's, knows what he's doing. He's got his own way.
Well, yeah, because the guy is old as dirt.
So, but I mean, he knows what he likes and he knows what he doesn't like.
Kind of reminds me of those Wade Phillips days,
which is obviously not X-Lax.
But that's not what you want in a head coach, obviously. But like, let the guy go fiddle in his dungeon and just let him be a mad genius. That's fine. That's his role. Keep him to his role. So, like, if that's not happening, I don't really want a young buck as a DC. Gotcha. I don't know why this hasn't been more spoke about, but why he isn't picking up the phone and saying, hey, Coach Zimmer, I know you're up the road, but, like, dude, you can come coach the NFL far better than you can reach out to college kids, I'm sure. So, like, there's no reason why someone of his,
stature, his nature.
Yeah, like, we need someone like that, in my opinion, of DC, because that's, I think, what Sean Payton really wants. Like, that's what his vision is. So, just less to worry about.
That's fair, man. And, it is kind of funny. So, along those lines, does Rex Ryan fit that bill then?
I mean, he kind of does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He kind of does, doesn't he? And wouldn't you say, what was the Bears guy? Yeah. He's just a stamped guy from Vic Fangio. He's not a vet. He's not a guy that is going to command that side of the ball from a locker room standpoint. He's just a crony that was co-signed by Vic.
Well, I saw the guy. Wow. I saw a stat about Rex Ryan. I think that when he coached the defense for 7 seasons, they were top 10 each year.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he does have a defensive prowess,
by the way, not head coach.
Yes,
correct. Not a good head coaching record.
Wasn't his brother in New Orleans for quite some time?
Yeah,
Correct.
Rob was. Yeah.
I believe
My pushback is Evero. He commanded the locker room, and he was a first time, DC. So I think somebody like that. I mean, if you're getting endorsements from Vic, who, I mean, maybe not in this locker room because there's a lot of guys that had a lot of hate for him, but
not his system.
Well,
though.
I mean, if I
Not
was
system.
But I mean, if
Same
you just
with
look at
Rex.
Vic and you don't look at anything else, and you just say his defense and everything, people can respect that.
Mhm.
And I think having that as an endorsement for Desai is huge.
Hey, the Ryans are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but they know how to run a defense.
But I mean, if I can chime in on someone like Sean Desai.
Yeah.
See, Rex Ryan, I get it. I mean, I do. I understand it. I mean, again, you really you've never seen Sean Payton coach with him before. But they've both been in the league long enough. I'm sure they know each other very, very well.
Again, Ryan, his brother used to be a DC. Yep.
Yeah. Within the league, I mean, especially in the coaching circles, it's a small world.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to sing the song. But as far as like, I like to make the argument. I can understand going for Rex Ryan. Matt. I saw a comment from Matt a minute ago talking about he's a very aggressive 4-3, sometimes 3-4 with a little bit of 46 thrown in. He also has a pretty impressive NASCAR package from time to time. But but at the same time, with Sean Payton being who he is, and he, even though he is fully taking over offensive play calling, which he can do, anybody who's complaining about the fact that Sean Payton's going to come in here and head coach and play call, listen, he's not Vic Fangio, okay? He is not Nathaniel Hackett. He has proven already with a Super Bowl ring on the top of that cake, that he can do both at the same time.
Agreed.
But at the same time, he's also got a very good defensive mind of his own. Not a lot of people talk about that. The best offensive-minded coaches also have brilliant defensive minds, because to have a brilliant offensive mind, you have to be able to read a defense.
Yeah.
He is, I would honestly say, probably top 3 offensive-minded in the league right now, and has been for a long time. That's why I'm so excited he's in Denver. And as such, I believe he's going to have plenty of his own to say about the defense. So that's
why I think him getting a strong OC is important, because when he says, I need you to take this series over, I got to go coach the defense up or something. Yeah. He can do that. He can trust that guy.
But the point I'm trying to make too. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Where Hackett had no clue. Hackett wanted no part of that side of the ball. No. And you need somebody that you're going to run and I go back to the Colts game. Russ, you're going to run the football. We're going to get 3 points here, and we're going to win this game. We're going to go up 10 with 2 minutes. You're going to run the football.
Well, my case for Sean Desai would be my case for Sean Desai is Rex Ryan's aggressiveness. I like that, and I'm not opposed to that. My case for Sean Desai would be, if we're worried about him coming in, Vic Fangio, he came from a Fangio tree as well as Evero did. What you also have to remember is that the players know Fangio's scheme for the last 4 years. So Evero came in as a first-time guy and was successful. I think Sean Desai may have the potential to do that because these guys already know the scheme. They already know the terminology. So you get guys that already know the playbook, and you get a coach who's coming in who's familiar with it as well. I think it's going to mess with the defense, helping out the coach, and the coach helping out the defense as well, because the defense will know what the coach wants to call before he even calls it.
And if I can make one last point on Sean Desai,
okay,
as far as it goes with Sean Payton, I think Sean Payton is an old school guy, but he has said it. He said it in his interview with Pat McAfee, that he's old school with some new style spin, kind of basically. But you're talking about bringing someone like Rex Ryan in. That's when you're starting to really build an old school, old guy coaching staff. And so for me, these are young players. The majority of this team is still very young. One reason that I believe that Evero had so much success was because of his relatability with these younger players. He, the younger coach who gets along very well with the young players because he's not an old dude with a bunch of 20-year-olds. So I think with having the head coach like we do, who can call all sides of the ball for the to a degree, who is old school, it'd be a good idea, in my opinion, to surround him with a little bit of youth. So that that person can relate to the players. That can be the person the players trust, at least on that level. And again, as Isaiah put, Sean Desai is coming from the Fangio, tree, just like Giro Evero was. So you surround him with some youth, and at the same time, you're keeping some continuity. That's why I would make the argument I'd rather have Sean Desai, and I wanted him way over Brian Flores. I'm so glad we didn't go Brian Flores. I was way against that.
Very good.
That's why I'd rather go have Desai over Ryan. And like Jay said, Ryan is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Very good. I'm going to wrap this up in one big bow, I guess. See if we can hit a few more topics before we try to wrap up and maybe get out of here. But not pressing for time, obviously. But we'd like to try to keep the show in a regular order, I guess you could say. I don't know if these guys know anything about being regularly or being orderly, but we're doing our best, guys.
Not even a little. No. That's actually a lie. Isaiah and I met in the Army, so we actually know everything about having.
Oh, there you go. Different.
I'm a disorganized mess. I'll take
that. That's trying to take a lot of things and put them in order at sometimes. Yep. What I was going to say is where I fall on this, and I think this wraps it all up altogether pretty well. I don't think I have an issue with any of these gentlemen, whether we're talking about bringing in, Desai, whether we're talking about Rex Ryan. And the reason being is the way I kind of started off this segment, and we also were laughing about me talking about we have a new head coach in Sean Payton. But that's the guy. We do. But
good Lord!
That's the guy that we're going to go ahead and we're going to rely on in this situation. That's the guy who knows, hey, if Sean Desai is the guy that's walking in the door and he's going to check all the boxes and we need this young guy and he can run this defense and I have faith and I know it because I do have this strong defensive mind, even though I'm an offensive guy. That's why we're hiring him. I'm on board. If it's Rex Ryan, because this guy knows how to run a defense, these guys are going to come in and respect him. He's the type of guy that I can relate to. I can pass the playbook off to him instantly and say, go take care of this. I got to take care of things over here. That's my guy. I'm on board. Because quite honestly, we're all in on Sean Payton, and with that being said, I'm all in on his decisions that he makes until he proves me otherwise. Matt did want to just jump in real quick and said, Nick Rallis, Eagles linebackers coach, has been tied to Denver as well. 29-year-old, being tagged as the McVay of the defense. And the reason I bring him in is because he also jumped in and says, please, thoughts on Rallis. Anybody want to jump in on that? Please let me know.
I'd personally stay away from anywhere from the Eagles. The Eagles defense, reason being is because what our goal is to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And we just watched the Eagles defense and those play callers get gouged in the second half to lose. So I'm like, I want a great defense, but I also want to beat the Chiefs. And I just saw what the Chiefs did to another defense.
But again, we are talking about the linebackers coach as opposed to the guy who was play calling for the defense.
That's true. If you look at the linebacker play, it was pretty phenomenal, obviously. If you look at the Eagles.
The linebacker play was pretty phenomenal.
He checks the box of youth. I mean, to what you guys were saying, as far as you want that youth movement on that side of the ball, and you want continuity from that of Evero, that would fit the bill of relatability. But
boombox above the head, we're not gonna take it.
But again, whether that's what we think is the best recipe for them. I'm with you, Keith, of that I'm just so happy to sit back and know that I just trust whatever Sean Payton decides. Like, if he's going to tag a young guy, I know that young guy's not going to just flop because he'll fire fast and he'll be gone. Like,
Can we just update the statement to say in Payton we trust, but we never know which Payton we might be talking about?
Yeah, that's true. We'll just keep on rolling with it. Jody, your two cents on Rallis here?
You know, that's high praise to say he's the Sean McVay of defense. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty high praise, whoever gave him that. So, I mean, 29 years old. I mean, look at Evero. No one expected what we were going to get last year. And, I mean, I don't know anyone that was begging not to keep him here. So, I mean, if he can turn out half as good as what those two were, I'd be happy with that.
That's very true,
Speaking
man.
of
Good
that,
point.
my dark horse candidate for DC would probably be actually our secondary coach.
Really?
Christian Parker.
Christian Parker? That quickly?
Evero came from secondary coach to defensive coordinator.
True.
Christian Parker comes from the Evero tree. So Evero has a tree on his own. And so, for whatever reason, he hasn't been released yet. He's still on the team. I wouldn't be surprised if I wouldn't be surprised if Sean Payton's like, well, you know what? We like the Evero defense and how aggressive he was. We may be able to just promote someone from within. You know, everybody seems to be leaving, but for whatever reason, still on the staff. So that's just someone who I would keep an eye on. I think that would be a good hire. Evero went from secondary coach to DC. And so I don't see why Christian Parker would the secondary coach under Evero as well.
Man, Isaiah out there finding dark horse candidates in the pitch black of night, man. Appreciate that, man. I don't think that name's been mentioned anyplace else, man. So that one's a tough one to spot, man. I appreciate that.
Look, if this happens, if it somehow comes to fruition that Christian Parker just suddenly gets hired, I'm never going to be able to get my best friend to shut up. And
That's correct.
I'm actually almost praying that doesn't happen because like he's going to remind me, like we're going to be like 80 years old, right? Like
remember Isaiah Parker?
Yelling at children on our lawn. And I'm gonna be like, dude, you were so wrong. He's like, yeah, but I was right about Christian Parker. Like, oh, you're still on that, you old,
Right. Son of a gun. Yep.
You heard it here first from Broncos Roundup, Christian Parker, dark horse.
All right, I'm going to do a little bit rapid fire so we can maybe get through a topic or two. This is not a big one, so I'll go around the horn as I see it on my screen. So we'll go Jody, Isaiah, Johnny, and Jay on this one. Is Russell Wilson's charity just another problem that he has to overcome this offseason, Jody?
No, I think it's someone who wrote an article that doesn't understand the full grasp of taxes and stuff. When his charity came out and said if they would have claimed what Safeway claimed on theirs, it would have been about 70 cents to the dollar. It was just another way for the media to pile on Russ, and it's it's just getting old after. I mean, they're just digging and digging and digging, just looking for something.
Very good. Isaiah, your thoughts on it, man?
Hashtag Russ Revenge, because I cannot wait for his 2023 year. I don't think so. The reason why is because this is why we hired Sean Payton. So while this story was breaking about Russ, Sean Payton was making headlines.
There you go.
So, he's up there calling Latavius Murray up on stage, actively recruiting Josh Jacobs, and then you got him doing the Fox Super Bowl thing with Gronkowski and Orange Tide.
Right.
So, I mean,
right.
that's what we got Sean to do, was to absorb the blow of media attention going to Russell Wilson, and Sean took it off. So while it is a story that came up, people were distracted listening to it. So no, not at all. I think we saw a picture of Russell Wilson look like he lost a bunch of weight.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, I mean, he's got his head down. Sean Payton said at dinner, Russ said, I want you to coach me hard. So this is what we wanted. This is what Payton wanted. The Penner Group wanted. They wanted Sean come in, take over. Russ, put your head down, get to work.
There you
and
go.
I think it's not that way. So I think it'll blow up. It's almost blown over. But I agree with Jody 100%. Yeah, there's so much going on with taxes and ratios and percentages and donations coming in that they single them out on purpose.
All right, very good. Johnny, I know this might be tough. Your 2 cents. That might be
okay. I will be as quick as possible. I will stay quick until it gets through. I get everything out. I'm just kidding. I'm on the same page as Jody and Isaiah. However, space, I'm going to look at it from a different perspective. So I basically think that what it is it's not even really Russ's problem. Okay, He has business managers who run that charity. This is their faux pas, even if they are completely correct based on that article on what happened. This is not Russ's fault. Russ is not managing that charity. His name is on it. He is the face man. So therefore, yes, he kind of had some responsibility, basically just being negligent, or not even negligent, but just plausible deniability.
Yeah.
So basically, at this point, if they find any fruition to it, all he's got to do is fire the guy who did it and bring in somebody new to run it. That's it.
Fair enough, man. Like that. That's a good point. Yeah, there is a line of separation, right? You know, most of these guys aren't out there truly, you know, looking over the books of the charity, you know, after they get done
He's
with
a
football
player. He's not a businessman.
Exactly. Jay, your 2 cents.
Sean Payton was quoted to say, "We want anonymous donors as far as football effort, football activities. We want you to be focused. We don't want you to be on social media. We don't want you to be loud and out there." Russell Wilson is going to be in the news whether he wants to or not because people are after him, obviously. That's not going to stop just with this story. This is just one notch on the belt. There will be more. But Russ, it's all about how he responds. Is he going to peel back, or is he going to dive more into media to justify, to respond, to create more stir? This is the line in the sand for Russ, and the media is going to push him to the line, and let's see what he does, because this is the offseason to see.
Circling back, Isaiah, what was that hashtag again you started out with?
Hashtag Russ Revenge.
There you go, buddy. You know, that certainly is that possibility. We're either going to see Russ revenge and maybe show off that, you know, he is the guy and you guys can put all your little stories to bed, or, you know, maybe he's out there stirring the pot, gets deeper in it, and, you know, maybe in a year or two we're talking about, you know, are we looking at a different quarterback for the Denver Broncos? But that's a different show, guys.
No, sir. Hey, Mr. Wilson!
As Victor says, dangerous. All right. Guys, I just wanted to hit a couple things real quick. Maybe we'll hit the highlight first. 2005 to 2013, he was a Cowboy, but from 2014 through 2016, he was a Denver Bronco and a Super Bowl 50 winner. Yeah, cans up for anybody who's got those out there. And
yeah, I've already drank mine. I've already drank my entire allotment for the evening.
Your allotment for the show. That I see how your guys' show usually end and why they end. That being said, congratulations to Mr. DeMarcus Ware, Hall of Fame, Canton bound. He had a fantastic weekend. It's funny, he put out there, he was, I guess he was kind of happy for the weekend, obviously, with everything he had going. I imagine it was a really tough weekend for as far as Super Bowl, being a former Bronco and being a former Cowboy, trying to root for anybody in this game, man. But he got to enjoy it for other reasons, and well-deserved, man. Obviously, he was the guy, as I heard, I believe it was the guys over on 104.3 The Fan actually talking, he was the guy that actually turned around Von Miller. You know, Von Miller wasn't necessarily in the best place. He'd had some little bit of legal trouble. You know, all of a sudden D-Ware comes in there, turns him around, makes him the leader. You know, really helped put him in the place that he is today. One of the greatest Broncos and could be one of the greatest, you know, defensive players of all time. Von Miller, especially if he
already is.
I just wanted to come back from this injury, you know, put together another couple of good seasons because he deserves it and will absolutely be on top at that point.
You know, interesting stat I heard is he led the Broncos that year in the playoffs in quarterback pressures.
Yes, he did.
Von Miller?
No, DeMarcus
I want to throw out there. I want to throw out Russ's tweet.
Yeah.
Since we were on our Russ train just a moment ago, I want to throw out Russ's tweet that he put out about congratulating D-Ware.
Okay.
I don't know if y'all saw it, but I loved every bit of it.
Go right ahead.
Russ literally said, both when he was on the Cowboys and the Broncos, and he had to face DeMarcus Ware when he was with Seattle, he said, "I remember my first times having to face off against DeMarcus Ware," and I'm paraphrasing the tweet slightly, but
obviously
he's like, and all I could think was, look at the wingspan on that guy. There is no way any human being should have arms that wide. And and I'm going to replace this word with what we do on our show. We use former coaches and players we hate for expletives. So holy Shermer, that's who I have to run from. And you know, so like that was the respect that Russ put on it. You know, as our, you know, basically saying like, he was terrified of DeMarcus Ware. And that's just the kind of player he was. But the funny thing is, DeMarcus Ware, met him, one of the nicest guys you've ever met in your life.
Wonderful, man. That's good to hear.
Terrifying person on the field, just like Steve Atwater. Terrifying person on the field, but in real life, one of the nicest, kindest human beings. Would give a stranger a hug and a sandwich. I'm just saying.
There you go, man.
I don't know why a sandwich, but it made sense to me.
Yeah. There you go, buddy. And that's always good to hear. That's we love that our stars are stars on and off the field sometimes. And to hear stories like that about DeMarcus Ware only solidifies his hanging his bust in Canton and his gold jacket on his shoulders. I guess is the best way to put it.
And the flag in Denver.
Yeah, exactly right, man. I'll tell you what. I absolutely loved what D. Ware did for us. He was always, a highlight to watch on that defense every time he took the field. So congratulations to DeMarcus Ware. We love you, and hats off to a fantastic career.
Can I pose a quick DeMarcus
Second-year
Ware
Hall of
question
Famer.
to you guys?
Go ahead.
Just to pose a quick DeMarcus Ware question to all of you.
Yeah.
Would Super Bowl 50 have been what it was without DeMarcus Ware?
No.
Yeah.
Granted, Von Miller got MVP, and Von Miller made all those flash plays. But would any of those have been possible without DeMarcus Ware on the other side of that ball?
Exactly.
On the other side of that ball?
No, because he was spying Cam the whole game, and he was getting pressures too. I mean, look who was behind him. I mean, you still had Shaq Barrett, who was raw. You had Shane Ray, who was really raw.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was a very valuable piece to that team.
Irreplaceable. I don't know if you even would have.
I mean, you
there.
double team Von Miller, and
you could. That was what made that defense so elite. You could if you double teamed DeMarcus Ware, you had Von Miller in your face. If you double teamed Von Miller, you had DeMarcus Ware in your face. There was no escaping.
He was the voice. He was the captain of that side of the ball. He was the driving force in the huddle saying, hey, guys, the Panthers are coming back. I remember that game of, being really nervous at the end of that game of, oh, man, now Cam's actually, getting her going. That could have turned sour real quick, but
Isaiah and I were really, really, really drunk at that point. I don't know if I remember the end of that game.
Very good, very good. From like I said, a couple different topics I wanted to hit quickly, but we go from a lighthearted topic to a little sadder topic. I just wanted to say our condolences to Larry Coyer and his family. Larry Coyer, if you guys don't remember, really 2000 to 2006 was involved with our defense, whether either linebackers or defensive coordinator. Fantastic gentleman, and coached many places and for many years. Actually, just recently, not that long ago, retired, but passes away. And just wanted to recognize him. He was a major part of that defense. Coach guys like Ian Gold, Al Wilson, Bill Romanowski. He
was instrumental. He was instrumental in Super Bowl 32 and 33.
Champ Bailey. He coached Champ Bailey in his. He had 21 interceptions in 3 years underneath Larry Coyer. Just obviously a phenomenal guy, and went on to coach for a few more teams in the league. But hats off to his career, and rest in peace, Larry Coyer. Thank you for everything you did for Broncos country, buddy. Guys, let me see what else I had on the agenda here, if I had anything. Boy, that was the majority of my agenda that I had going on, guys. I don't know.
I got one last one for you, Keith.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to go around the horn and give us some final thoughts or any final questions or comments you have for us.
Here's the last little bit here. Since you did rapid fire a minute ago.
Okay.
Rapid fire. We can go. I know it's your show. Again, I don't mean to be taking
No,
over,
feel free, buddy. I'm all good,
I
buddy.
thought
Roll.
while I was on the road driving home from work today. Which, if I've yawned a few times, I do apologize. I've been awake since 4:30 in the morning for work, so I'm tired. But rapid fire, we'll just go since he's right here, right here.
President.
Yeah, we'll go Isaiah, Jay, Jody, and then Keith. Everybody, rapid fire. Your favorite moment from last night's game, from the Super Bowl. Your favorite individual moment, play, player, whatever. Isaiah, go!
I really have one. I like Dallas Goddard.
Which one? There were several Dallas Goddard.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go general and say Dallas Goddard. Player. You said player.
Way to
So
cop out, bud.
You said player, so I'm choosing player. Dallas Goddard, I think he really stepped up and had some great catches, sure hands. He was a reliable target. So I'm going Dallas Goddard.
All right. Jay.
I really enjoyed the halftime show.
Rihanna fangirl.
Can you believe a pregnant woman was all good with being levitated in the ceiling of an arena like that? Oh my god! Like, none of my experiences around pregnant women would dictate they would be all good with that.
Really, your wife never would have been okay being hung 50 feet above the ground with no.
Dude, I could talk to her into driving to Boulder because she was like, "Oh, the elevation." Are you serious? It's the foothills.
Oh boy, I just hope your wife is not watching. All right, we'll throw to Jody. We got one for the halftime. We got one for Dallas Goddard. What do you got, Jody?
I'll piggyback off of that. I think that throw that Jalen Hurts made to Goddard, where it was right in between two defenders, that was an incredible throw. I mean, he laid it right in the bucket. He couldn't have. I mean, he had to be pinpoint accurate, and it was. It's one of the best throws I've seen in a long time. So that was an incredible throw.
I like it.
I'll go somewhat similar. I'll kind of go player. The one that really impressed me, Isaiah Pacheco. Isaiah Pacheco went out there in a team that's known all for their offensive weapons, what Mahomes can do downfield, what Kelsey can do, what all these guys can do. Pacheco came out there and he put on a heck of a game. Here's a guy that the Broncos had an opportunity, scouted him, had him on their board. Certainly could have been in the backfield. Certainly could have been an answer now that we have Javonte Williams maybe down for the first part of the season. He went out there, he put on a show, got his touchdown in the Super Bowl. Did a lot more than Melvin Gordon did. So my guy's Isaiah Pacheco.
I would say he's made relevant the Chiefs' run game again.
100%.
Honorable mention, because one thing that hasn't been said and I noticed is people don't talk about how well the Chiefs draft. So if I were to give an honorable mention, we did Nick Bolton.
Yeah, big one.
Yep.
That man, if we had Nick Bolton and Josie Jewell or Nick Bolton and Alex Singleton, that dude was everywhere all the time.
All the time.
So yeah, honorable mention Nick Bolton.
All right, you had your turn now. Shut up. It's my turn.
Well, then, if we're going to go honorable mentions, I'll go to Kadarius Toney with the. I believe he was the one who had the longest punt return in Super Bowl history, and plus also went out there and kind of really came up in clutch points for the Chiefs. Here's a guy that was traded from the Giants, came over mid-season, picked up this offense and was relevant within it.
Sure.
So hats off to him.
Can I give mine?
Oh yeah, I guess if you need to.
I've got one, and I've got an honorable mention too. Since we're
there we go. Make it snappy.
So, favorite moment, absolutely was when Trent McDuffie decided he was going to take on Jason Kelsey one-on-one, and Jason Kelsey literally bulldozed him into the ground. And I was like, dude, Trent McDuffie, what were you thinking?
Right.
Like, seriously, dude, that's like laying down in front of a steamroller and saying, I'm going to stop it. All right? So I don't know why, but I actually rewound that several times just to watch McDuffie get knocked into the dirt and bounce off of it like a basketball.
There you go.
It was a heck of a hit. Yeah. But my honorable mention is actually going to go in just kind of something that's very impressive about the game, or about a historical moment of the game itself. This is coming from a guy who's constantly defending the fact that I have an awesome black best friend. And that is that last night was the first time in history that two black quarterbacks have taken each other on in a Super Bowl.
Wow.
And Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes. Been plenty of black quarterbacks who have gone into the Super Bowl and played, but it's always been a black guy versus a white guy. Yep. This is the first time in history it's been two African-American starting quarterbacks. And that is a huge historical moment, and I think that deserves a huge shout out.
And they were both openly Christian.
That's right, and they're both openly Christian, which for us is a big deal.
That's awesome too, and they're both from Texas. But you know what's
That's
even more?
not a big deal.
Fair. I appreciate that. Appreciate you that you love everything about these guys except the damn number from Texas. You know, honestly, and just to speak on that really quick, and then I'll continue to go around the horn on some closing thoughts. I like the fact that it's taken us this long also to talk about this, because that also shows the progression of where we're at. It's not a big topic that we have a black quarterback. I grew up in a time where it was they were talked down upon. They weren't capable. You know, there was literally coaches and owners who had very racist and backwards thinking. We have progressed so much that we got through. I'm looking at an hour and 10 minutes, and thank you for bringing it up, Johnny. But at the same time, you know, it's nice that doesn't have to be the topic of discussion, that this was the case. Congratulations
But big shout
for
out to the
progressing.
Broncos, who played the very first starting black quarterback in the NFL ever.
Yeah, and the Denver Broncos also lost to the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl. And,
That's right.
So
we're part of all that history, bro.
Yeah,
Go Broncos! Go Broncos!
Yeah, go Broncos! Jay, continue our closeout. Go around the horn. What do you got for us, buddy?
Man, it's just I have tons of hope. There's been a lot of highs here, but at the end of the day, I sat back today and I realized I have to go through a whole nother year of hearing Chief fans. And that just really puts a bad taste in my mouth. There are few teams that I dislike more than the Chiefs. I know for older generation Bronco fans, the Raiders are, you know, the go-to rival, like the people we hate more than anything. But for me, it's always been the Chiefs. And I just, everything back from, you know, even Joe Montana in the 90s, basically from that on, I couldn't stand them. And so it really irks me that they're on top of the world and we are where we are. I can only hope we're going to have something.
Not for long.
I love the positivity, but 100%, man. You know, obviously it does. It hurts. It hurts to have any Chiefs fans around you, knowing that you're going to have to hear it, walk into work and have that Chiefs fan. I was actually in a place where I walked in, and the whole office was decorated in Chiefs. I mean, signed Travis Kelce jerseys and the cheetah jersey was all signed up there. And so I walked by the office and I just stopped and I'm like, I bet somebody's happy today. And the lady just slowly looks up at her from her screen and she goes, well, she's proud. And that said it all right there. She was not the Chiefs fan, but she was having to put up with the proud Chiefs fan in that office today, and it was hell on wheels. Let's put it that way. So hopefully we go out there, guys. We need to get that win against the Chiefs. We need to knock that off our checklist next year, and I do have faith that's going to happen. We got 2 chances to do it. I think we get it done. You'll feel a little bit better, Jay. Jody, any closing thoughts, buddy?
From both teams last night, I think line play was incredible. Both quarterbacks stood back there and had all the time in the world to throw, and I'm glad that Sean Payton, that was one of the first things that he said is we need to improve this O-line because it was on display last night. I mean, Hurts and Mahomes both had all the time in the world to throw back there. I mean, you didn't hear nothing from Fletcher Cox, Sue, Chris Jones, nothing. I mean, if the Eagles would have won, probably Hurts would have got MVP, but a close second was their offensive line. I mean, they both were dominant.
Yeah, you know, things we aspire to, that offensive line performance was pretty good, especially against, you know, I thought the Eagles did fantastic in the draft and in free agency in this last year, addressing a lot of holes on that defense. I thought they were going to be killer this year. They did. They came out. They were one of the best defenses in the league. You can't say anything bad against that Kansas City Chiefs defense. They may have started a little bit slow at the very beginning of the season, but man, did they come into form. And Chris Jones is a wrecking ball. for that to never come up for the sacks. At one point, I know near the end of the game they put up stats and they put up sacks and hurries, and I think there was 1 sack and 0 hurries. I mean, it was insane. I mean, you don't see things like that. So, things we aspire to.
Not in a Super Bowl.
What's that?
Not in a Super Bowl.
Not in a Super Bowl. Yeah, you're right. Man, we were even adding hats, guys. I love it. These guys are crazy.
That's right. I've donned the my Mile High Viking headgear.
We've got props.
That's right. 'Cause your full name on Facebook is Johnny. What is it again?
Broncos Viking, but I'm changing it to Mile High Viking.
Oh, okay. There you go.
I just have to wait for the allotted period of time to elapse before I do that.
Gotcha.
If you've ever seen me at a game, Jay and Isaiah have been privy to that. I even carry a full size Berserker Broncos Berserker battle axe.
You'll have to get some photos over to me, man. We'll throw it up there.
I am the Mile High Viking.
I love it, man. Every once in a while we do a fan Friday for the Denver Bronco Roundup. So you'll have to shoot me a photo so we can put it up there for fan Friday.
I got you, buddy.
All right. Hey, my closing thoughts, guys, are 2 things. One, didn't mention it throughout our entire show, but Willow Seasonings and Blends is our sponsor. Dave Slade over there. Willow Seasonings and Blends has a fantastic array of seasonings, a fantastic array of sauces. They've won Blue Ribbon first place last year at a Kansas City barbecue show. They ship all over the country. They've gotten so big they've got their own packing and shipping now that they're having to go to. I'm telling you, they're all available all throughout Colorado. If you check them out, they're at willowseasonings.com. You can find out everywhere they're there. You can get them, but you can also get them online. I'm telling you, fantastic stuff. Gosh, I was trying to remember the last thing. What's that?
Sounds delicious.
It is absolutely delicious. Like I said, whether it be their Memphis-style barbecue sauce, their Sweet Thing barbecue sauce, they got my favorite is their SPG, their salt, pepper, and garlic, their Memphis-style rub. I mean, he knocks it out of the park. Really knows what he's doing. And go check them out, willowseasonings.com. Dave Slade, Colorado-owned business, veteran-owned business, so we love both of those things. Go check them out, guys. So
as veterans, that's happening.
Exactly.
I had one last thing too.
Okay, and then I'll circle back to my final last thing because I do have 2 parts. But go ahead, Jody.
Our other co-host, Albert Knoppers, hasn't been here. Had some personal things to take care of.
Yeah, I meant to ask where Al was.
Hopefully that all goes well, and he should be back in a few weeks. Just trying to hold the fort down without him. So
yeah,
hopefully everything goes well, and we'll see him in a few weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
Pass along if you talk to Albert. Pass along our good vibes to him because Al is in the Broncos fan community. Albert Knoppers is a legend in his own way. So good, great guy. Love Al. And hope he is doing well.
Yeah. Nothing super major, but taking care of ourselves as we get a little bit older. We'll all start to recognize that, and so I will certainly pass along those vibes. And thank you, Jody, for recognizing Albert. We mentioned our great guest that came in tonight. We didn't mention our absence, and Albert is 100% a part of this Denver Bronco Roundup show, and missing whenever he's not here, even when we do have great fill-ins like this. And that's the 100% last bit I wanted to get to. And that was, thank you guys, man. I appreciate you guys coming on this show. I appreciate everything that you guys do and everything that you guys have coming up. So to the Orange and Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue crew, thank you guys so much for joining us this evening.
Yes, thank you guys.
I appreciate it a ton.
Thank you.
It was fun.
And please give me one more rundown of where we can hear you, where we can get you, when we can find you, all of that, if you don't mind.
All right. Well, first of all, very soon y'all will be invited over to come to join us on Nothing Rhymes.
Open invitation.
Anytime. Absolutely. Basically, guys, there's Matt bringing it in right there.
Yeah, exactly. Right on time, man. Me and him are talking about the same time.
We appreciate that very much, Matt. So if you guys are looking to catch us at any other time, any other place, you're going to catch us right now on Wednesdays at 7:30, 6:30, 5:30, 4:30 on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Okay, you can find us on Twitter at @NothingRhymes_ or at @Nothing_Rhymes_. You can find us on YouTube simply by searching Nothing Rhymes Podcast. You got to have the word podcast in there, by the way. So make sure you get that. Nothing Rhymes Podcast. And on Facebook, Nothing Rhymes with orange and blue. We go live, like I said, every Wednesday. We have new content that's coming up. We've only got the one show running right now, but we'll have other new shows that are coming up very soon. And during the season, we have a pregame show and a postgame show called Get Bucked and Buck Your Feelings. Great shows. We have a lot of fun. We're the kind of, we pride ourselves at being the kind of podcast that makes you feel like you're hanging out with your best friends at a tailgate. That is our goal. We want you to feel like you went to the tailgate with your friends and you left afterwards with nothing but smiles. That's what we do, and that's what makes us happy.
Keith, let me piggyback off that. Let me just say my closing regards. Thank you so much for having us on. Really, guys, like honestly, all you guys, Matt included, like I really enjoy the community that we have built and are building when it comes to the social media fabric of the Denver Broncos and really Colorado sports in general. Because I like relating to people that follow the same nuts and bolts on a daily basis as I do. And we get so entrenched in the details.
Emphasis on the nuts.
Well, we get so lost in it that we forget that like the normal person out in the world has no idea what the hell we're talking about. Right.
That's true.
Like really, they don't. So like to be on the same level as some other people that understand the same things and topics that I follow, it's a great joy for me. So really, hats off to all you guys.
Amen.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate, like I said, you guys coming on. I appreciate your appreciation of us and our relationship. And hey, I appreciate everyone that obviously jumped in, was part of the show, whether we're talking to Adam and Kayla and Daniel or Danny, who I know, Jeremy, your good friend over there, Mr. Glassman, Matt obviously jumping in, Sis, Paul Montoya, everybody that jumped in. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for being a part of the show. Like you said, open invitation.
Last one. I'm so sorry, Keith.
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
And thank you to Jody for setting this whole thing up.
100%.
For sure.
That's
Thank
what I
you
said
very
first
much,
when he got in here first.
Shout out
That's
to
what I
Mr.
told him
Jody
too.
Moncrief, who made this collaboration possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming on. It turned out
Very
good.
much so.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are fantastic. I think there's a fantastic collaboration. Look forward to being on your show. Look forward to having you guys back. And quite honestly, look forward to all the fans we can maybe even build together. So,
Absolutely.
Fun times. Appreciate you guys. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. Again, you can catch the Denver Bronco Roundup every Tuesday typically. We're actually on here on a Monday, because of Super Bowl, and 2, we have other significant others, and we need to take care of on a Tuesday, Valentine's evening. Anybody who didn't know that, hopefully I didn't surprise anybody with that news. But
I love you, baby.
Jay, from what you were talking about, you might have to buy something a little bit extra, figuring your pregnancy story to Boulder. You might want to go swing by, pick up an extra dozen roses just to make sure. That being said, check us out every Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. You can always check us out we're part of the Rocky Mountain Sports Network, brought to you by the Rocky Mountain Sports Network, and of course, our good sponsors over at Willow Seasonings and Blends. So thank you, gentlemen. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. Until we see you guys again, thank you so much. Have a good night.